Welcome to New Zealand Mysteries. I'm TJ. Today we're going to talk about new evidence that has come to light in the search for 3-year-old William Tyrell, who went missing from Kendall, New South Wales in 2014. This is not a case that I've covered, although I was going to, but now that the new evidence has come out, I think it's time that we see and listen to the story of William Tyrell. So we need to take a look at where this happened, a town called Kendall, which is on the coast here, so not far from Port Macquarie. And if we look at layers, when my computer does stop doing the funky chicken, we're going to see that there's a lot of bushland and national parks surrounding Kendall. It actually is very, very small. It is on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, Australia. It is located 3 kilometres from Kew and 36 kilometres southwest of Port Macquarie via the Pacific Highway. At the 2016 census, it had a population of just 1,141 people. So we're really talking about a small place. Now, Wikipedia is not somewhere I generally go for a ton of information, but when I was trying to get a good outline of the case, this was the best place to go that had the information altogether that I needed. Let's have a look. So William was born on 26th of June 2011. He disappeared at the age of 3 from Kendall, New South Wales on the 12th of September 2014. He had been playing at his foster grandmother's house with his sister and was wearing a Spider-Man suit at the time of his disappearance. And he loved that suit so much, guys. There is multiple photos with him in this suit. William is believed to have been abducted. Despite extensive investigations, as of 2021, William has not been found or his abductor or abductors identified. On 12 September 2016, a reward of $1 million was offered for the recovery of William and does not require the arrest, charging, or conviction of any person or persons. I believe this actually was the first $1 million reward that was offered in Australia, and the second was for Cleo Smith, the little 5-year-old that was safely returned to her family. So let's look about the disappearance. On that September 11th day, 2014, 3-year-old William, his foster parents, and his 5-year-old sister travelled 4 hours from Sydney to visit his foster mother's mother in Kendall. His foster grandmother's house on Benaroon Drive is directly across the bushland road from the Kendall State Forest, about 35 kilometres, which is about 22 miles south of Port Macquarie. Between 10:25 on 12th September, William and his sister were playing hide and seek in the front and backyard, while his foster mum and foster grandma were sitting outside watching them. His foster mum went inside to make a cup of tea. She became worried after she had not heard him for 5 minutes and began searching the yard and house. Shortly after, William's foster dad returned after going to Lakewood on business and began searching the street and door-knocking neighbours. At 10:56, his foster mum phoned 000 emergency services to report him missing, and the police arrived at 11:06 a.m. His foster mother's last memory was that William was imitating a tiger's roar while running towards the side of the home, and then there was silence and he had disappeared. His mother looked for him, but with no success. And even if you haven't had kids, I can just, or especially if you're parents, I can imagine a little boy running around screaming like a tiger, I should say. But this all happened rather quickly. I don't think they searched for long before they called their police, and it wasn't very long until police actually arrived. Now, initial search efforts. Hundreds of police, members of state emergency services, rural fire services, and members of the community searched day and night for William. Specialist police, including the sex crime squad from Strike Force, were immediately formed. Motorcycles and helicopters were brought into search. 200 volunteers searched overnight. Hundreds of people combed rugged terrain around the home, and police divers searched waterways and dams. The police searched every house in the estate that surrounds Benaroon Drive several times. The police detection dogs were brought in and they managed to detect William's scent, but only within the boundaries of the backyard. Strike Force Roseanne was established with specially trained investigators from the State Crime Command who are experienced in the unexplained disappearance of young children. They supported the police, other emergency services workers and members of the public involved in the search. After 5 agonising days, police said they were unable to come up with any leads. Sighted vehicles. The police later began investigations into finding the drivers of 2 cars that were seen parked on the dead-end road on the morning William disappeared. The cars, described as a white station wagon and an older-style grey sedan, were parked between 2 driveways of the acre lot of land. They were seen with their driver's side windows down and were unknown in the neighbourhood where locals are friends. These cars were noticed by William's mother and they have not been seen again since the time he disappeared. The police regard these particular vehicles with suspicion and there seemed to be no logical reason why they would be parked on the street before William's disappearance. Reportedly at 9 a.m, a green or grey sedan car drove past William's home, or the Tyrell home, while William and his sister were riding bikes in the driveway. The car drove into the no-through road, did a U-turn in the neighbour's driveway and drove out of the street. Secondly, another 4-wheel drive was sighted driving out of Benaroon Drive at about 10:30 a.m, about the time he disappeared. That same vehicle was later seen speeding down another Kendall street. The police said that they have known about these cars since the investigation started. However, as part of investigative strategy, the information about these vehicles was not released to the public until 12 months after William disappeared. And I don't know if I like that, keeping it for 12 months, especially if it could have been a good tip that the public could have helped with. But in any case, it doesn't really matter now. So I'm not going to read the rest. There's some reported sightings, suspected theories and things like that. But, I'm going to have all the information in the description box below. So you will be able to research it more yourself if you so want to. All right, we're going to nzherald.co.nz. This was released today. Police launch new search for William Tyrell, saying there is no doubt they are looking for the boy's remains. Police have revealed many hundreds of officers will search 3 locations in the area where Australian boy William Tyrell vanished more than 7 years ago, and conceded that they are most likely looking for the little boy's remains after new evidence came to light. William was playing with his 5-year-old sister in the yard at his foster grandma's house on Benaroon Drive, Kendall, on the New South Wales mid-north coast on September 12, 2014. When she suddenly couldn't find him, he was 3-year-old at the time and wearing a Spider-Man suit. And isn't that just the most gorgeous little face? You just want to grab those little cheeks. I don't think you're allowed to do that to children. They don't like it, but he's just so cute. Police said this morning officers will be carrying out a major new search operation around where the little boy was last seen. This activity is in response to evidence we have obtained in the course of the investigation, not speculative in any way. We are acting on behalf of the coroner and in conjunction with the colonial orders. She will be kept updated with regards to our progress, said Detective Chief Superintendent Darren Bennett. There is a large amount of work to be undertaken. We will be working specialist areas and people from outside the police force. We are hopeful we can bring this matter to some sort of conclusion. Asked whether they were looking for William's remains or whether they were looking for him alive, he said it was highly likely officers would be looking for a body. He said it's highly likely if we found something, it would be a body. We are looking for the remains of William. No doubt about that, he said. He said he believes the search will take us a degree towards finding out what happened to William. He said, I'm not anticipating a swift end to the investigation by any means. He was asked about what new evidence had come to light. including whether some of the information had arisen from a Channel 10 podcast on the boy's disappearance, but he remained tight-lipped. He said, "There is a lot of activity in around this. It's all related." A Network 10 spokeswoman told News.com that audio files from the podcast were subpoenaed by the New South Wales Coroner's Court. We can confirm that raw audio files from the podcast by Leah Harris, called Where's William Tyrell, including interviews with William's foster family and others close to the case, were subpoenaed by the New South Wales Coroner's Court, she said. The update from police today comes after detectives revisited the Kendall and announced new information had come to light in mid-September. Over the past 7 years, William has been the subject of the largest police investigation in Australian history. New South Wales Police have conducted multiple searches, collected thousands of pieces of information, identified hundreds of persons of interest, followed multiple leads of inquiry, and posted the first $1 million reward in New South Wales. So I think maybe I was wrong. It's not the first $1 million reward in Australia as such, but maybe just the first one in New South Wales. In September, police confirmed new information had come to light about the disappearance. The homicide squad's strike force Roseanne marked the 7-year anniversary of the disappearance by revisiting his foster grandma's home on the New South Wales mid-north coast. Further information has come to light as part of our ongoing review of the materials gathered by investigators since the moment William went missing 7 years ago. That was Strike Force Roseanne Officer in Charge, Detective Chief Inspector David Laidlaw. Police did not comment further as to what the new information was, but the previous week it was reported detectives had renewed their inquiries into a person of interest who had previously been dismissed. Detectives and analysts from the State Crime Command's Homicide Squad have been investigating William's disappearance under Strike Force Roseanne and believe his disappearance was a result of human intervention. However, William's foster parents have called claims by police sources that they are closing in on a new suspect in the toddler's disappearance as fake news. She said, "Once again, we are forced to watch others objectify Tyrell for personal gain." A statement was released from the couple on September 7th. And, they're just hurting. They are just hurting. And sometimes when you're hurting, you do say things. And sometimes I guess it can seem that people are using or objectifying stories for personal gain, I guess. They said to publish unverified claims without consideration to the hurt that articles of this nature cause. It's disrespectful and devastating to everyone who knows and loves Tyrell. A statement released by William's foster family in September said his loved ones had never given up hope on finding him again and made a heart-wrenching plea for those involved in his disappearance to finally come forward. On the 7th anniversary of William's disappearance, we asked of the person or persons involved, how much more heartbreak must be endured before you come forward? And we've got to remember, guys, that this is the foster family. There is another biological family of Williams that are hurting out there just as much. When you took William, you plunged our world into perpetual darkness. How long will you continue to make us suffer? When will you choose to come forward and end the nightmare we've endured every day for the past 2,558 days since you took William from this happy life? Detectives are continuing to conduct interviews, searches and other investigative activity, including those under coronial orders, as well as reviewing all available materials with the assistance of various experts. The $1 million reward for information that leads to the recovery of William and the circumstances surrounding his disappearance remains in place. An inquest into the case was launched in March 2019, which is ongoing. Guys, I'm going to find the information that you need to call if you have information on what happened to William, and I'm going to put that in the description box below, along with how you can get hold of me, suggest cases, our website, our Facebook page, and ways to donate to the channel if you want to. Really, the main thing for free is please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit all on that little bell so that when I have an update, I can let you know. Thank you very much for being with me, and let's hope that there's some resolution in this case for all the family of little William Tyrell. Thanks very much, everyone. Be safe and be kind to each other and yourself. See you next time.